another quiet Saturday. Nobody's around, and it's a pretty peaceful day. And I just finished an alteration on a short chamber 16 gauge. I opened the box, and lo and behold, the one behind me is another one. I can tell at the glance of it that it's a short chamber gun. I called the man. He says it won't cycle 2 3/4. And I know that's a fact, but I've done videos on these things before. Maybe it won't hurt to do another one. I can tell it's never been altered because it has the fixed ejector. Chamber's not reamed. It hasn't, of course, the ejection port hasn't been milled out and all that. But maybe it's just time we talked about altering these guns again, being it's kind of a peaceful, quiet Saturday. So I'll get on it here and we'll go through it and see what we can get done. So when it comes to an alteration on these old 16 gauge guns, I start with the barrel because you have to do more to the barrel than anything else to get these things to cycle. I removed this fixed ejector, and at one time I had a bunch of these that Browning, I got from Browning. They were already elongated. There's a hole in this one, and it needs to be elongated so that ejector can slide. And I can't seem to find the ones I've got, so I drilled the hole out a little bigger, and I've got a chainsaw file that I use to file this notch down and make this ejector so it slides. I've already kind of altered a little bit. These are real tight when they're fixed ejectors, but I've already altered this one to where it slides freely in and out of the barrel. So that part's done. So now I'm going to make that alteration. And after that, before I put that ejector back in so it's not in my way, I'm going to go ahead and ream the chamber. So we'll shut the camera down a little bit here and get on this, and we'll pick it up again here in just a few minutes. So I have commenced to ream the chamber. I've owned this reamer for probably 40 years. It stays nice and sharp because I don't put it in a machine, and I just do it by hand. It saves my cutter, and it's still good and sharp, and it cuts really well. I'm going to talk a little bit later on in this video about I've seen floating around out there some instructions on how to do these alterations, and some of those things are completely, shall we say, false. If you alter them the way these instruction sheets tell you to do, you're going to have problems, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But of course, the chamber has to be reamed. I'm just finishing it up, and I got my reamer marked here, and I'm down to my 2 3/4 mark. So that part is done. Let's talk about the next step I'm going to do here. You need to make a cut. Get a pointer here. You need to take a cut out of the side of this barrel extension. You want to cut down to the rim, to the base of the rim, but you don't want to change the outside contour because it'll look bad when the bolt goes up against it. So this cut you make with a grinding tool goes at an angle. It's a bevel, and it's there to help that shell swing out. So you take your Dremel tool with your stone on there, and now I have to give you some cautions here. If you take too much out of this, you go down past the inside rim, what it does, it has a tendency to harm the slot where the extractor goes, and then it can't get a bite on the shell. So you don't want to take too much off. You want to go just down to the base of the rim, and when you get done, I don't know if you can see that, kind of looks like that. It's not anything fancy. It's just ground out like that. That's all you got to do. So the next thing I'm going to do, that's done. Chamber's reamed. I'm still going to take it back in the back and polish and hone that forcing cone somewhat in that that I've reamed out. And the next thing I'm going to do just put in my sliding ejector. Still in the process here, huh? I took it back and polished the forcing cone after I reamed it. I have my sliding ejector fit here and ready to be riveted into place. Earlier I mentioned how we grind out this extension. See if I can get it to where you can see it. This right in here, this so the empty hole can swing out. And I said you don't want to change. I don't want to lose my ejector there. You don't want to change this outside shape. You could grind it down to the rim in there, and you could grind it down out. It's going to make it look really terrible. When I say that, if you were to grind this the wrong way, if I can get my bolt in here, what you would have, see how nicely that bolt fits up against the extension? If you ground that the wrong way, you'd have a big old gap, and it looked terrible. So that's why we do it the way we do it. So that's the proper way to do that. So I am now ready to try to put in my sliding ejector. Let me get this here phone. Yeah, I think you can see that. Part of the trick is to, now I found back in my parts an original Browning rivet. Usually I'm out here making rivets because I have trouble finding this little bitty tiny rivet you can't even see. But I found a bunch of them in some parts I bought from one of the late Browning Auto 5 mechanics down at Browning. But we're ready to put it in. I have taken my carbide bit and put a chamfer on the hole so that rivet, when it flares out, it's got something to bite into. And so the trick is now to put that rivet in place, and I'm going to have to get some tweezers here. I don't want to lose this rivet. I don't have a lot of them, and if I lose it, I'll have to start making it. So I'm going to put the rivet in the hole. I think I am, if I don't lose it here in the process. It's small, so it's awkward to fool with. All right, see if I can get it. I'm going to try to get it down like that. There it went. All right. Now to keep it in, I have my ball peen hammer, and mounted in my vise is a 1/4 inch piece of soft steel rod, and I've ground the sides of it down so there's a flat that'll go down inside this ejector. And the trick is here to put a little tension on that rivet. There it went. Oh no, just as I thought. All right, let me shut this off a minute so you don't hear all the bad words I'm going to be saying here, because I lost a valuable rivet. I'll go get another one. So I'm back. I went and got another rivet. This time I swept the floor under my bench, so maybe I could find something like that. But I got to tell you, when those parts hit the floor, I don't care what it is, you never find them again. It's like some kind of magic, like the floor just drinks them up, and it's gone. So I went and got another one. I need to find somebody to make these rivets. And so to keep from embarrassing myself too much, this time I put it in and got it started. I need to finish peening it down with my ball peen. I had to start this and get another rivet and start over because I said some pretty bad things, and I had to start over again. So that rivet and that ejector is peened into place. As you can see, we now have a sliding ejector. Slides. That's what you want. It's not this instruction sheet I've seen out there. Everything they talk about is 3/16 of an inch. Like this ejector is supposed to slide out 3/16 of an inch. It's not 3/16 of an inch. It doesn't have to be. And there's another critical part we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. When it comes to milling the receiver, they say to mill that thing 3/16 of an inch forward. You do that, and you're going to have lots of problems. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So this barrel is done. I've honed polished the forcing cone. I've cut out my barrel extension. I got the sliding rivet in it. This is one of the biggest part of the alterations that takes the most is the barrel. The rest of the job is not that big of a deal. So I will shut this thing down again and kind of get things ready, and we're going to start on the receiver next.